Picture this: a world without cities. No skyscrapers, no traffic, no bustling crowds. Just small groups of people, hunters and gatherers, constantly on the move. For hundreds of thousands of years, this was humanity's story. But then, something incredible happened. We stopped wandering and started building. Today, we're journeying back in time to explore the very first cities ever built and meet the people who called them home. This is the story of how civilization began. Our story starts around 12,000 years ago in the Fertile Crescent, a boomerang-shaped region in the Middle East. The Ice Age was ending. The climate was warming, and people were making a revolutionary discovery. Agriculture. Instead of chasing their food, they could grow it. This simple idea changed everything. For the first time, people could stay in one place. And where they stayed, settlements began to sprout. One of the earliest and most fascinating examples is a place called Göbekli Tepe in modern-day Turkey. Now, Göbekli Tepe wasn't a city in the way we think of one today. There's no evidence of houses or permanent residence. Instead, it was a monumental temple complex. Built around 9600 BC, that's a staggering 7,000 years before the pyramids of Giza. Imagine massive T-shaped stone pillars, some weighing up to 20 tons, carved with intricate reliefs of animals like foxes, lions, and scorpions. Hunter-gatherers from all over the region would travel here. They worked together to quarry, transport, and erect these incredible structures. Göbekli Tepe suggests that it wasn't farming that brought people together first, but shared beliefs and the desire to create something sacred. It was a spiritual center, a place of pilgrimage that laid the social groundwork for future cities. As farming became more widespread, permanent villages started to appear. One of the most famous is Jericho, located in the West Bank. Around 8000 BC, Jericho was more than just a village. It was a fortified town. Its people built a massive stone wall, almost 12 feet high and 6 feet thick, complete with a towering 27-foot stone tower. Why the heavy defenses? It could have been for protection against rival groups, or even to defend against floods. Life in Jericho was a step up from the nomadic lifestyle. People lived in round mud brick houses with plastered floors. They cultivated wheat and barley, and they were among the first to domesticate goats. The skulls of their ancestors were often plastered and decorated, suggesting a complex form of ancestor worship. Jericho shows us the next crucial step. People not only living together, but also organizing to build large-scale defensive structures for their community. But if we're looking for what archaeologists consider the world's first true city, we need to travel a bit further east, to a place called Çatalhöyük in southern Turkey. Flourishing between 7500 and 5700 BC, Çatalhöyük was a city unlike any other. It was a massive, sprawling honeycomb of mud brick houses, all packed together with no streets or alleyways in between. So, how did people get around? They walked on the rooftops. Each house had an opening in the ceiling which served as both the entrance and a chimney for their hearth. To visit a neighbor, you'd climb down a ladder from their roof into their home. This unique design likely served as a great defense mechanism. Any attacker would be faced with a solid wall of houses, with the only way in being through the roofs, which could be easily defended. Inside these homes, life was remarkably sophisticated. The walls were plastered and often decorated with stunning murals. These paintings show hunting scenes, geometric patterns, and even a depiction of a volcanic eruption, which might be the world's first landscape painting. The people of Catalyok were skilled artisans, crafting beautiful pottery, obsidian tools, and woven textiles. What's fascinating about Catalyok is its seemingly egalitarian society. There are no grand palaces for kings or massive temples for high priests. Every house is roughly the same size. People were buried under the floors of their own homes, keeping their ancestors close. This suggests a community where families were the central unit, and society was organized without a strong, centralized authority. It was a bustling city of up to 8,000 people, all living, working, and cooperating in this dense, rooftop world. As we move forward in time, we arrive in Mesopotamia, the land between the rivers Tigris and Euphrates, in modern-day Iraq. This is where the urban revolution truly exploded. Around 4000 BC, the Sumerians emerged, and they took city building to a whole new level. One of their earliest and most influential cities was Uruk. Uruk was a game-changer. By 3000 BC, it was likely the largest city in the world, with a population that may have reached 50,000 people. It was a city of monumental architecture, social hierarchy, and groundbreaking innovations. At the heart of Uruk stood massive temples called ziggurats, stepped pyramids dedicated to the city's gods. These weren't just places of worship, they were the administrative and economic centers of the city. Life in Uruk was highly organized and specialized. You were no longer just a farmer. You could be a priest, a soldier, a potter, a scribe, a merchant, or a builder. This division of labor led to incredible efficiency and innovation. It was here in Uruk that one of humanity's greatest inventions was born. Writing. As the city's economy grew more complex, people needed a way to keep track of goods, like grain and livestock. They started using clay tablets and a reed stylus to make wedge-shaped marks. This system, known as cuneiform, was the world's first writing system. It allowed them to record laws, tell stories, and manage a complex city-state. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the world's oldest works of literature, comes from Uruk. The government of Uruk was headed by a priest-king, who was seen as the intermediary between the people and the gods. Society was stratified, with a clear hierarchy of elites, commoners, and slaves. This was a far cry from the egalitarian society of Catalyok. Uruk had a standing army, complex irrigation systems that turned the desert green, and trade networks that stretched for hundreds of miles. Uruk wasn't just a place to live. It was the engine of a civilization. Following Uruk, cities sprouted all across Mesopotamia, like your Nippur and Lagash. These city-states often competed with each other for land, water, and power, leading to the world's first recorded wars. But they also shared a common culture, religion, and language. The legacy of these first cities is all around us. The idea of living together in large, organized communities, the division of labor, monumental architecture, law, and writing, all of these foundational elements of our modern world were forged in these ancient urban centers. They were the crucibles of innovation, the places where humanity took a giant leap forward. From the spiritual gatherings at Göbekli Tepe to the rooftop society of Catalyok and the bustling metropolis of Uruk, the journey to the first city was not a single event, but a long and fascinating process. It was a journey driven by our deepest needs, for safety, for community, for meaning, and for progress. These ancient pioneers, who dared to build something permanent in a world of constant change, laid the foundations for the world we all live in today. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey back in time. It's truly amazing to think about how these first urban experiments shaped the course of human history. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more stories from our ancient past, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Which of these ancient cities fascinated you the most? Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.